everybody. Welcome to the Friday Night Frenzy, where almost all ships are canon, and the topics, they're more like a set of guidelines than actual rules. Tonight is a very special night, because we are going to shake things up and stir up some trouble. You know I like my James Bond. You know I like my video games. I like the finest Reese's sandwich. You put them together, you get some of the greatest stuff ever. So I was wondering, what's the history of James Bond video games? So you know what I did? I called the man who literally wrote the book on James Bond video games. Let me full screen you, brother. We have my friend Jared here. All right, put the book a little bit to the left, please. It's like the chat's kind of There we go. James Bond video games. How you doing, sir? Oh, your mic's not working.
That's because I had it muted because I'm very polite when other people are talking. I'm doing great, and thanks for inviting me to your show to talk about my favorite topic and yours, James Bond video game. Well, my favorite topic. I don't know about you.
I see you're suited up for the occasion.
I dressed it up nice for you. I want to be very Bondian.
That works. I was muted too. Yeah, you guys play more Bond than I did, unfortunately. I didn't know there were so many games, to be fair.
And today you're going to learn all about it, because I have the subject matter expert here.
Yeah.
Here I am.
First off, I also do want to note that Gerard is kind of a very special person to me, because without him, Screecher Volume 2 would not happen, because he was the one that hooked me up with the artist Mark, and originally he was actually going to work on Screecher Volume 2, but things didn't really work out. This
was a big part of it. I was in the middle of doing this.
Maybe for like the next half, I'll bring you in. I don't know.
I meant to message you the other day. We'll just air everything here. I was like, you know what? If you needed a cover inker, you want me to mark on any covers, let me know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I will keep that in mind.
All right.
And
I mean, it's better hit you than me, because with me it would just be flamethrowers and rocket launchers. That's bad.
No, actually, that sounds like it's pretty sweet.
Sadly, the only Bond game I played to the end was the most recent one.
Well, you got one over on me because I haven't played the most recent one.
I didn't even know they were still making them. The only one I have ever played that I can remember to completion is GoldenEye.
That's the game out of all of them.
Yeah, that's the white elephant. So, Jared, I'll talk to you. We'll talk some Screecher after the stream a little bit.
Sure.
But speaking of Screecher, I do want to say, so the YouTube money came in today, and I'm happy to announce I will be shipping the copies of Screecher Volume 1 to my to Critical Blast either tomorrow or Monday at the latest. So here's the talent edition right here.
Oh, that's cool.
Take a look at that.
I think that's the one I backed. Huh? The hardcover?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I backed that.
And then this is how it looks. There's Joe's signature, there's mine, and there's numbered. This might be yours. I don't know. I just grabbed one.
Handle gently.
Oh my god. It would be really funny is if you got yours and you looked and you saw it was a number 14.
If it is, I'm writing it down. 14. Got it. So we'll see.
Okay. So yeah. You'll be getting your Screecher stuff here in the next few weeks, so that's gonna be pretty heckin' awesome. I guess a few things. Jared, what do you think about these GTA 6 leaks?
The GTA 6 leaks.
Yeah.
This today, right now, is the first time I found out there are GTA 6 leaks. I only focus on James Bond. I'm just kidding. No, I'm in the gaming sphere enough to know that GTA 6 is like the next big thing on the horizon.
Okay.
But I am unaware of leaks. But I tell you what, man, I think I've frozen time somewhere about PlayStation 3 because those are the games I just keep playing over and over and over.
All
But
right, then let's just kind of skip all the small stuff, and let's just get into the vodka martini of the topic. So,
well,
what
now I got questions. What are the leaks? I want your opinion now.
okay, so there's this guy named CyberLeak, and we have full video of gameplay. Got cutscenes. It is insane. The guy's running like a crypto scam, like it's 2002, 2022 all over again.
Now I'm going to flip it around. Interview you. Are you a big GTA guy? Like, is it a series you gravitate towards?
It's kind of weird because GTA 5 is one of my favorite games of all time, but the other games I've tried playing the other games so much, but I can never get with the controls of like the older games. Versus GTA 5, the controls just click with me, and I love that game. The controls like butter.
I need to try it because honestly, I've played 3 and Vice City, and I think I dabbled a little in San Andreas. That's how far behind I am. But I think I own 5. I think I own 5, so I should give it a shot.
The story mode is worth a playthrough. Also, if you another game you might want to play to prepare for GTA 6 is RDR2, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay, yeah. I'm very familiar with how cool that game is. I have a buddy of mine that's big into it, and I believe I scored a copy at a yard sale not too long ago.
I never played RDR 1 or 2, not even once. Don't know why.
I played RDR 1 on my PS3. I think I still have my copy. I played through RDR 2 on my PC. And that was fun. Long game, great game. But speaking of shooting things in the face, Gerard.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you pronounce your name? Just so that I'm not like mispronouncing the whole entire thing.
All right, just like Jared, I used to say like the Subway guy, but let's go with the jewelry store now.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Jared's.
Yeah.
Just Jared.
Okay. So do you like your turkey breast sandwich shaken or stirred? Your foot long?
Strangely enough, that's what I had for lunch today.
I'm trying not to die of laughter. Nick, you're killing me.
Ding. But no. What drew you to James Bond video games all throughout these years, Jared?
Okay. I have been a James Bond fan in general since birth, pretty much. I have a brother who's 5 years older than me, my brother Jason, who I podcast with on Long Box Crusade Network. Mm-hmm. And my dad sort of got my brother into Bond by the time he was about 5 or 6. And I've never known a world without Bond. Like, as far as I can remember, it was staying up late on Sunday to watch ABC Sunday Night at the Movies because I'm old. And they used to play a lot of Bond on Sunday Night at the Movies. And I was just old enough to get to the theater in 1983. Octopussy was my first big screen Bond. I was about 6 years old, going on 7. And I just been consumed by Bond. It's my favorite pop culture thing. You know, I podcast about Bond. I write a book. I wrote a book about Bond. My next comic book that's coming out is not James Bond because that's copyrighted, but it's similar.
I'm literally doing the same thing. I don't know if I've told you, but I'm writing a novel. It's called Quartermain, A Most Pressing Affair. So I'm writing a novel that stars the son of Alan Quartermain, but it's basically just a Bond novel.
I love it.
No, you can't. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. You do a spy novel, you're basically doing James Bond. You do a detective novel, you're basically doing Sherlock Holmes. It's unavoidable.
Yeah, there are those key characters that sort of define those genres. And strangely enough, I also podcast about Sherlock Holmes. I feel like there's a weird connection between Holmes and Bond, and British and
you're not wrong. There kind of is. It's just they have similar mannerisms. When you think about it.
Yeah.
They have similar mannerisms. They're always polite. They put forward a good face.
Oh, a little bit snobby.
A little bit sloppy, but underneath.
Guys, you're just describing your average upper class British person, okay? This is not Sherlock Holmes. You're just describing your average British person. Just shut the F up.
You're not wrong.
Apologies to my British podcast co-host.
Let's go to White's and have a drink.
Apologies to my British podcast co-host, who is also the publisher of my book. If you're watching, then I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry. I do not mean to get this man in trouble. I'm just pointing out the.
Now, Alan has a tremendous sense of humor.
Let's just go to a pint. Go to the pub, have a pint, and wait for Saul to blow over.
Yes.
So where did James Bond video games start?
Okay. For the world, they started in.
But was the world enough?
Oh, that's very clever. They started in 1982, and actually, let me change my preface. For the United Kingdom, they started in 1982.
Mm-hmm.
This dude named Richard Shepard programmed a game called Shaken But Not Stirred. And this was in the Wild West of when video games were coming out. You know, the Atari was just coming out. And in the UK, they had a little computer system, very cheaply made, but that way they
Spectrum?
get into a lot of, ZX Spectrum. And he programmed basically a text-based adventure, kind of like Zork, for those of you who know text-based adventures. And he called it Shaken But Not Stirred. And this was, like I said, the Wild West. He just like put an ad in magazines saying, "Hey, James Bond game, Shaken But Not Stirred, Richard Shepard software." And those games came on cassettes, like audio cassette tapes, and you basically sent him some money and he mailed you a copy of his game. And it was unlicensed and basically kept to UK, Europe area. But the very next year in 1983, that's when the world would get its first licensed to kill James Bond video game.
You cut me off.
I gave a pause and I cut you off. Yes. That was just James. I think it was just called James Bond 007, and it was on the Atari. And there's a mildly interesting story behind that, depending on how deep you want to go. But the long, short answer to your question: the world got it in 1983 on the Atari.
So
and the world said it was not enough.
See how many we can squeeze in there.
Yeah, probably a lot and a little.
I mean, call me Xena Onatop. I'm gonna squeeze as much as I can.
Oh my god!
But enough foreplay.
You're doing well.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, all this really depends on your definition of safe sex.
Oh my god!
I think Gerard is getting clued into who my favorite Bond is.
Yes, I've long since said I have this theory that you're 19 years old, and for some reason, all 19-year-olds love GoldenEye. And you know what? I have no problem with that. Like, GoldenEye was such an entry-level movie and game.
Mhm.
Like, it brought Bond fans in. The Bond fan base was pretty stagnant, and then boom, GoldenEye comes out in 1995. Is an absolute shot in the arm to the series. The series had been missing for 6 years. It had been 6 years since we had a Bond movie.
Mhm.
Boom, GoldenEye shows up, and it's like, okay, we got a new Bond, and the series is kind of almost soft reboot because it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
Please God, don't let it suck. And it was amazing. Like, GoldenEye was amazing. It was so good.
To be
And
fair,
then-
it was meant to be a Timothy Dalton film. I think that was a big reason for it.
Yeah, Dalton had to walk after a while because they weren't doing anything with it. Like,
Well, I don't know if you know, the thing is, they originally wanted Dalton for GoldenEye. Like they actually asked him to come back. He was willing to do it for like a one-off, but he didn't. But they wanted him back for like 4 more films or whatnot, and he didn't want to commit for 4 more films. Like, it was like a one-off, he would have done it.
yeah,
But, like,
I feel like if they had done it sooner as well. I think he got tired of in that 6-year hiatus of them doing.
But I will say, if they had gotten Dalton for that film, I think, I mean, Brosnan was great, but I think Dalton in that movie would have been just a smidge better.
Well, you're not going to get an argument out of me. Dalton's my favorite Bond all time. So, fun
Does
fact
your car
about-
have a few optional accessories
Yeah.
installed?
What's that, guys? For me,
Okay.
yeah, man. A fun fact about Dalton is he was actually approached by producers back when Connery left. and then Lazenby came in,
Yeah.
and that whole Lazenby to Connery to Roger Moore era, they approached him. He was like 24, and they were like, "Hey, we're really thinking about you to be Bond now that Sean's gone and George isn't working out and all that stuff." And he himself said, I'm too young. I'm 24, and so thank God they came back to him. I do love. I mean,
the same thing happened with Brosnan. Like with the Dalton era, they literally had casted Brosnan as Bond.
Yeah.
But then the Remington Steele was canceled. NBC was like, "How? We're gonna use our contract." They yanked it away for
a decision that I will never understand, because they did that, and then they produced like 3 more episodes. They did almost nothing with him after they screwed him. And I'm just like, what a short-sighted decision, because if I'm them and I've got him under contract, I'm like, by all means, go make a James Bond movie and then come back to us and we'll make maybe a couple made-for-TV Remington Steeles. Imagine now you've got the Bond actor doing Remington Steele.
And I can easily see the Broccoli's agreeing to that kind of compromise,
Yes, I feel like they fumbled that ball hard. But yeah, you're right. I think I can't confirm it because I've never actually seen it, but I heard a rumor that he was actually on a billboard, like Brosnan was on a billboard that said the next Bond. And it did happen.
I have no confirmation. I cut off my camera so people don't see me eating while we're streaming. So that's why I vanished. Just letting you know.
I'm sipping root beer.
Okay, okay. Here's my question for you: is The Rock a James Bond movie?
Oh, that's a good question. A lot of people, call it a pseudo sequel where Connery is playing a James Bond who'd been, busted.
In my opinion, it is. In my opinion, it is.
I'm too much of a purist to call it a Bond movie, but I like the theory a lot. Like if you watch it and want to enjoy it in that space, I'm totally cool with that. I think that's great.
The thing that I love is the timeline actually matches up pretty well. Because he was in Alcatraz and then he escaped. Like there's an 8-month period where he was unaccounted for. So we got the Atari game, and then how did James Bond games proceed from there?
Well, the Atari game is weird in and of itself, because if you're a comic book guy like I am, and you are, and you're reading comics back in the early 80s like I was, they were advertising a James Bond game for Octopussy. Octopussy was the 83 movie, and they were like, we're going to do this Octopussy game, and they just never finished developing it. Instead, they kind of took a shortcut and went with the other one that did get released. Just James Bond 007.
Well, they could release it. You know what they say, never say never again.
Yep. I'm glad you brought up Never Say Never Again, because it also came out in 1983. So 83 is this big year for Bond, because you get your first mass released Atari game. You get 2 Bond movies in 1 year with Octopussy and Never Say Never Again. And strangely enough, in the entire canon of James Bond films, Bond has never played a video game except in Never Say Never Again in 1983.
Yeah.
Unless you count the virtual reality simulator that he uses in World Is Not Enough, I think.
Die Another Day.
Die Another Day. Yeah, was it Die Another Day? My old man brain is starting to mush, but I think you're right. Yeah. So yeah, that's it all kicks off in 83, and then from there, it like everything James Bond, it gets interesting.
Yeah, I never knew he played a video game in any movie or.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I know he used a computer every now and then, but never played a game or simulate.
So, for those who aren't aware, the whole thing with Never Say Never Again is Thunderball the novel was like co-written by a person, and when they did the movie, he did a lawsuit, and the end result of the lawsuit was he retained the right to make his own Thunderball movie with blackjack and hookers, except there was a time that he had to wait like 20 years or something. So he waited 20 years, and then he made the Thunderball movie, and they got Sean Connery, and Sean Connery did it just as an FU to Eon.
Yep, absolutely. A guy's name is Kevin McClory, and I think he and his estate might still retain the rights to do Thunderball remakes in perpetuity. I'm not sure. And it's unfortunate that Connery did as an FU basically to the producer, Cubby Broccoli. The two men did mend their fences on Broccoli's deathbed, which I think is wonderful. But I also think it's a life lesson in maybe do forgiveness a little earlier. Don't wait until someone's about to die.
Yeah. The same thing happened. I think the same thing happened with Ghostbusters. Like I think Murray and Ramis didn't really mend the fence until Ramis is almost dead.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, Happy Dino, you are based Dino. So we were talking about it.
Has one objective: power.
Oh my god, this is so 80s it hurts.
Will be fighting for
we'll play the hell out of this game.
But for this demonstration, I will choose.
I've had that sucker in the middle of my living room.
Target areas will light up on the map.
Yeah.
Whoever hits them first with his laser beam will score a point. But there's another way to win.
James Bond playing video games.
You control 2 nuclear missiles.
Told you.
With your right hand, you control a shield.
I love Connery. He's like, I do not like this.
he's like,
I don't understand.
I'm old and can I shoot it? Can I shoot it or can I have sex with it? One of the two.
Can I drink it? Is it alcohol?
Yeah, that's basically it.
There you go. Bond playing video games in 1983, and it makes sense too because in that scene, Largo is he's doing a fundraiser and he's doing it at this big arcade. Bond goes through this big arcade to get to that room, and it makes sense because the producers were thinking, well, what's hot right now? Video games, arcades, and video games, and Atari. Nothing was bigger in 1983. It was like the edge of pop culture. So, James Bond 007 comes out in 83, and then you won't get your next Bond game for 2 more years until A View to a Kill comes out. And as with everything James Bond, kind of interesting. There's 2 different View to a Kill games that you can get for they're both PC based. And one of them is more of an action type of game. It's got a few levels, chase Mayday, escape the burning tower, etc., etc. And then the other one is A View to a Kill, the text-based adventure. Because again, these are text-based adventures are very popular mid to late 80s. And what makes that one even more interesting is the guy who wrote the text-based adventure game is Raymond Benson, who would eventually, down the road, about, 5-10 years later, 7-8 years later, somewhere in there, he would become the James Bond novelist. He wrote 6 of the Bond novels in the series. So the guy that worked on the computer game, text-based adventure, he actually wrote 2 text-based adventures for the Bond franchise. He ends up being the Bond writer.
I actually remember reading a James Bond novel where it deals with computers and Bond learns to be like a programmer or whatever.
Yeah, I knew James Bond originally started.
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I'm thinking Bond fiddling with computers.
No, I don't know.
It's like basically he gets taught by this like hot woman.
Of course.
He's like, oh James, I can be a hearth mistress or whatever. She basically just like goads him with like, if you do really well, I'll give you some.
I feel like this is ringing a bell. I feel like I have read this, but I can't remember which book it was.
But it's very like 80s computer coded. Like he's going like there's text like, and I go into the computer and I delete certain lines of code or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like I've read that.
I've never read it. I know Bond started as a novel from an actual spy of World War II.
Correct. Because Fleming worked in the Special Services office.
This was done by the guy who did the Bond novels after Ian Fleming. Like
yes.
In the 80s.
Yeah. Basically, and I'm skipping over some small ones, but basically you have the Fleming novels, and then they kind of get taken over by this dude, John Gardner, who wrote them.
I think Roll of Honor. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Yeah. I was thinking when you were saying that, I was like, it's got to be a Gardner book.
The book and this is a book I had as a kid. It's Roll of Honor.
Roll of Honor. Yeah, that's a Gardner book. And then after Gardner, again, there's a few onesie-twosies in there, but for the big chunks, after Gardner comes Benson. Raymond Benson writes a chunk, and he's my favorite Bond writer, and he's a wonderful guy. He's he gave me exclusive interviews for both the games he worked on here in this book. Nice guy. Wonderful dude. But yeah, so you got the two of you two Akil games in 85. And so you got Benson working on one. The other one is a company called Domark, gets the license to make Bond games. And that's kind of important because they hold the license pretty much from there all the way until I think the last game they did was the Sega Genesis one, which was the Duel, James Bond, the Duel. And so Domark, and most of them are released on PC, which is why I think a lot of people don't know this deep history of Bonding games because we weren't PC gaming a ton.
Yeah, because I
back
think
then.
like growing up, there weren't really many James Bond video games. Like I remember like James Bond Jr. for the NES.
Yeah, exactly. The NES is the most popular system of my Gen X life.
There's the Game Boy James Bond game, and
yeah,
then,
and that one's surprisingly good.
I heard about those games, but I don't know why. I never played them. The only one I ever got was GoldenEye, and I couldn't explain why. Whether my twin brother wanted it or my dad wanted it.
It was a beast, man. It's the number 2 or 3 best-selling N64 game of all time.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's in my book. I can't remember if it's.
And then like after GoldenEye, we got this explosion of James Bond video games. Like we were getting one like
the
year. Like obviously got like the one for the time for the game. We got James Bond Racing, and that's but we're getting ahead of ourselves here. So how's the Domark era go for James Bond games?
So the Domark era is interesting because Domark started out with like this big. First one they did was View to a Kill in '85, and they had this grand idea that they were going to make kind of 3 different game styles in one game, and then none of them were particularly good because they spread themselves a little thin. And from then on, they kind of adopted this model of we'll find another game that already exists, and we'll kind of reskin it and make it a Bond game. So you get some reskin games in there. But so just a quick rundown. Domark gives you Living Daylights in 87, Live and Let Die in 88, License to Kill in 89, Spy Who Loved Me in 90. These are all just sort of PC games. Some of them are a bit like some.
Now, what's the gameplay like? What kind of gameplay are we talking about?
All right, depends on the game a little bit. Living Daylights in 87 is a side-scroll shooter, and I think that one's not much of a reskin. I think that one's pretty original program, but they would hire out other studios to do it under their license. Live and Let Die, the big scene in that movie for you Bond fans may remember is a big boat chase. It's a huge boat chase in Live and Let Die, and that's the game is a reskinned boat chase game.
Yeah, because like a lot of people don't realize a lot of movie tie-in games from this era. They'd be like, okay, there's this scene. We're gonna make a movie out of this scene. Like, Star Wars Trench Run. We'll make an entire video game about the Trench Run.
Yes, you nailed it. We don't have a ton of memory or anything. You got to make your games a bit smaller back then.
All right. So Happy Dana says, "Am I the only one who wants a Bond trilogy, quadrilogy, 60s, 70s? I mean, that would be kind of cool."
No, you're not. You're not the only one at all. Happy Dinosaur.
I mean, I just want a Bond movie set in the 60s. Like I like remember when Tarantino proposed a Bond movie in the 60s, black and white, starring Pierce Brosnan? Please
take my money.
Please
take my money.
Take it.
Take all my money.
Nick, are you currently booting from like archive? Internet archive? Oh no, you're just got a video going. You got a video going. Okay, it's a video boot of Internet Archive is cool because it has a lot of these Bond games, and you can play them on the website because they're so small. You can play all these games web-based now. Like they take up no space. So yeah, this whole Domark era, like I said, some reskins. They do The Spy Who Loved Me, which is kind of an action-based game. Then this other game comes out in as we turn from 89 to 90. This other game comes out called James Bond: The Stealth Affair, which again is a reskin of a different game that was made in Europe. Oh, there you go. You got an image from Living Daylights. Man, doesn't get any better than that, does it, boys?
Man, this never happened to the other guy.
And it's weird because you use a joystick to move left and right, but then you also like have to finagle it this weird way to aim at the bad guys in the background to shoot them. It's an odd game the way it plays.
Yeah.
And half the fun, I probably should have mentioned this way up front. Half the fun of this book, in fact, 80% of the fun of this book, because anybody can go up and learn the factoids, is I tracked down people who played the game, almost all. And there's a few in here that are so obscure I never could find anybody. But like I found people who like played Living Daylights as a kid, and I interviewed them, and they're pure interview. So because I wanted to get the experience of the game, because anybody can be like, here's all the facts, and I got to talk to Raymond Vincent or Bruce Fierstein or the other cool people in the industry, and they're in here. But to me, the magic is each game has someone who played it for real, and they'll talk about their memories of what it was like to get it for their birthday or Christmas, and I did a lot of them are guys in the UK. So, I did a lot of this. All started as a podcast. I did sort of an audio podcast documentary during 2020. So I had all the raw data, and then I said, well, let's make it to a book. Yeah. So I just remember talking to the guy who played that game. Incredibly funny guy.
I think that's important because literally anybody could just go on the Internet Archive, download a ROM, download the emulator, play it for 5 seconds, being like, this sucks. It's stupid.
Right. It's old. I don't like it.
Yeah. You talk to people who had it as a kid who have no other frame. Like these people in like 1988, they never played Elden Ring. They don't even know what an Elden Ring is. They'll think it's like their grandmother's suppository or something.
No, you're absolutely right. That's the magic of the book. I talked to this guy in England. He was a couple of my interviews. He goes by Wizard of Ice, and he's an absolute hoot to talk to, and his commentary on the games was fantastic. So again, that to me, and I talk about it in the very first forward chapter of this book. I tell everybody the magic is in the player interviews. It's everything else is neat, and it's like a little history book, but you get the magic there. So yeah, that is your Domark era kind of in a nutshell. They pretty much run it from 85 to 93 with that one weird PC game, Stealth Affair, which is just a reskin of another secret agent game that was made in Europe. They just reskinned it for Bond.
What are some highlights of the Domark era? People want to check out games from the Domark era. What are some highlights?
That's a good question. Most people are, if you're familiar with anything from Domark era, it's usually James Bond: The Duel, because it came out on Genesis. It came out on Sega Genesis. So that's the one that most people who, aren't steeped in Bond might remember because they might have had it on their Genesis and played it. Like I had it back in the day on my Genesis. Other than that, the flavor for the Domark era is, I would use the word niche. It's hard to find. It's if you're a collector and you want the actual media, they're going to be harder to find. They're going to be a little expensive if you buy them on the secondary market. But yeah, that's the hallmark of that era. I'm getting tingles already. I love this game. Look at that lifelike Timothy Dalton.
I love that. Like, this is like Chad Face 20 years before Chad Face.
That is Chad Face Timmy D right there.
Yeah,
I can almost hear the
exactly.
Like, I can hear it.
A lot of people make fun of that image. Yeah, Kremlin was the programmers. And it's just a cool little side scroller. It makes me want to play. I love the sound effect and every time he jumps, he doesn't flip. Save the girls. Yep. Fantastic, fun game.
It's really. He says, "Gotta get."
You know what I can see happening in the near future, Nick?
What?
Our audience challenging you to play this game on Tuesday.
I mean, I do have all the Sega Genesis ROMs, so
yeah,
it is doable. $5.
Play it's actually fun, mildly challenging, but a fun little, as you can see, side scroller platformer.
It's actually really hard to get like good music out of the Sega Genesis, but they do a really good job here, I think.
Yeah, Sega Genesis music chip is famous for not being great, but memories.
Yeah, the thing about Sega Genesis music is when you know how to work it, you can actually get some really good music out of it. But a lot of people didn't know how to do it, so a lot of it were just like electronic parts.
Yeah. distant memories of watching this. It's a game I played a lot in high school and college, right there.
What's funny is so they had Timothy Dalton on the cover, which at the time this was made, he was technically the current Bond.
Okay, yeah. Here's probably my favorite fun fact from the whole deal. I'm gonna dump it on you right now.
Okay.
Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and Sean Connery. All three of those guys, their last appearance officially as Bond, video games. Weird. Because this was 93. Timothy Dalton officially is no longer Bond very shortly after this, but he appears on the box art and that spot on image of him on the
spot on
on the sky on the screen there. But yeah, this is Timothy Dalton's last official appearance as Bond. And Pierce Brosnan's last official appearance as Bond is in, I think, Everything or Nothing. Forgive me if I got that wrong. The PS2 era is jumbly in my head. That's why I had to write a book about it. And then Connery's last official appearance as Bond is on the PS2 era when he does From Russia with Love. He does the voice of Bond.
Yeah, we'll get to that one later. That's gonna be some interesting talk about that. Because if I remember correctly, he did From Russia with Love technically after he had retired.
Yeah, he did it basically because his grandkids were like, because EA had come to him and said, we'd love to get you to do this, and his grandkids were like, do it, it'd be so cool for you to do it more time. And he was like, all right. and if you remind me when we get there, I'll drop you another fun fact about that game.
We'll do.
But yeah, that pretty much takes us to the early 90s.
So we were talking about this one, but what about the Game Boy game? Do you have any factoids for the James Bond Game Boy game?
The Game Boy game, which comes out in 97, is surprisingly good, and not many people have played it. I will going to drop one fun fact before we get to that one, because between James Bond: The Duel in 93 and the Game Boy game in 97, they drop it's not a game per se, but they drop a software called the James Bond Dossier. There we go. There's the game.
God, I love Game Boy music. Sorry.
But I love to mention the Dossier that comes out in 96, because there's a game in 93. That's funny. There's a game in 93, a game in 97. 96, they dropped the Dossier. And it's funny because it's before Wikipedia and the internet's big. So it's just a bunch of James Bond information and images and stuff on this disc. And to me, the funny thing about it is the company that made it had just absorbed the game company that just fell out of my head. The guys that owned it for the PC, all those Domark. Thank you. The company that made Dossier just absorbed Domark. So even though Domark got absorbed by another company, they went right back to working on Bond stuff, which I think is hilarious. But moving on. Yes, this is 1997. The Game Boy game. It plays a lot like a top-down Zelda game, as you can see.
I never knew this existed. Wow.
And it's surprisingly good.
The music is.
If that's another game you've got a ROM of, man, I would play it because it's good.
I probably do. Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, I think I still have the actual cartridge that I bought at Toys R Us when much like Jason, I didn't know it existed. I was just looking. That's the beauty of that's gone now of Toys R Us or whatever. You know how you can just go discover things.
Mm-hmm. That's how I found Mass Effect and Dragon Age.
Yeah, you just discover it.
I miss going to Walmart and like them having like this wall of video games.
Yeah.
And they'd have like actual consoles set up. So like, while your dad was arguing about contrast on the CRT TV, you'd just be like, "Oh, I'm playing Smash Brothers on Walmart on the N64 or whatever."
Yeah. And I misspoke, by the way. I said that Game Boy came out in 97. It actually came out in 98, right after GoldenEye came out on the N64.
Here we are. We're at the elephant, the one that everyone actually cares
the one that everybody knows about. So, the most fascinating thing about GoldenEye on 64, it doesn't even have a ton to do with the game, but I mentioned it earlier, how GoldenEye in 95, the movie, it reignited the franchise. It was an entry point for a lot of new Bond fans,
Yeah.
And then I think I think what really solidified it as just this huge moment in Bond history is the game, because the movie comes out as a big hit in 95, 96 it becomes a big hit on VHS, 97 the game comes out. Like, when was the last time they dropped the game 2 years after the movie?
I mean, the lore about that is originally GoldenEye was going to be an on-rail shooter. Like, fun fact, one of the things they wanted to do was they wanted a mechanic to where to reload, you would take the rumble pack out and then reinsert it, like,
correct.
Reloading.
It's in the book. Good job. Yeah,
Wait,
I didn't know that either until I did the research.
You're serious?
Dead serious. Yeah, you take the rumble pack out, put it back in to reload.
And so the game kind of evolved, and basically EA was like, just take the time, make the game. So I don't know if this is in the book, but did you know that GoldenEye came out 2 weeks before Tomorrow Never Dies? So it was essentially a Tomorrow Never Dies tie-in game.
Yeah, and then they made a Tomorrow Never Dies game, because when GoldenEye hit big, and I mean big, and again I can't remember if it's number 2 or number 3 best-selling game. It's in the book, and I can't remember. And I mean big, and you guys mentioned it. At post GoldenEye, they started popping Bond games and like actually advertising them. And right after it, they did Tomorrow Never Dies. The game, which also came out almost 2 years after the movie, because Tomorrow Never Dies came out in 99. The game.
If I remember correctly, basically after GoldenEye came out, it was a hit. I believe Rare had the option to make a Tomorrow Never Dies game, but they declined.
They declined.
And so the license was dropped, and then EA obviously picked up the license and ran with it, and they had it up until, I believe, about 2004-ish.
Yeah, I think Tomorrow Never Dies was made by like Sony Black Ops, and then EA steps in on the next game.
I think it was like Ocean. I think Ocean made Eurocom. Because Eurocom is a big Bond dev.
Eurocom got involved as well in that sort of late PS1 PS2 era.
Well, Eurocom I think was making Bond games even up until like the Wii PS3 era.
Yeah, they were certainly involved, and it definitely. But yeah, it is weird how GoldenEye comes out. It's basically a preview right before the movie.
All right, so I got a list here. Eurocom did James Bond Jr., The World Is Not Enough in 2000, Nightfire, Quantum of Solace,
sounds right,
GoldenEye 007, and 007 Legends, which I believe is like the last Bond game up until recently.
Yeah, there's some small stuff that we can talk about in between there, but yeah, it's the last proper game. Legends.
I didn't know any of these came out, and I feel bad.
No, it's man. Let me tell you something. I'm a huge Bond fan, right? And when I decided I wanted to do this originally as an audio documentary and then as the book, I honestly in my head was like, oh, I'm gonna go back to the history of games, and it's probably about 20. There's 47 games in the book.
And what I find interesting about Bond is you have these very distinct eras of Bond games. So, like, I would say it was kind of the era we're in, like, I would say, like, late 90s up until very, kind of like early 2000s was the post-GoldenEye era. It's like you had GoldenEye, and then they were chasing that GoldenEye.
They were chasing, yeah.
I would say it wasn't until, like, about Nightfire when we kind of entered a different James Bond era.
I think you're right. Because, like you said, after GoldenEye changes the game, no pun intended, Tomorrow Never Dies is the funny thing is Tomorrow Never Dies, which was released only on PS1, is a good game, but everybody like poops on it because it's not GoldenEye. But it's like that happens a lot with these Bond games. I believe gets compared to GoldenEye. Everything.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, Tomorrow Never Dies, that was a third-person shooter, right?
Correct. Yes.
And then World Is Not Enough is where they try to do a first-person kind of GoldenEye-esque game.
Correct. That's when they kind of tried to get back to it, and I believe World Is Not Enough, and in that same year they released 007 Racing on the PS1.
That game is garbage.
I've played worse, but it's
I mean, I played worse, so it doesn't make it good.
Nick, I've played Dragon Age.
I played E.T. on 2600. Doesn't just because I played the worst of the worst doesn't make this automatically good.
There's two things I really like about 007 Racing. I love the concept of mission, like your vehicle-based missions. And the second thing that I have to mention from both 007 Racing and The World Is Not Enough is I was lucky enough in the book to interview Tim Bentinck, who is the voice of Bond in those two games. And that guy is a freaking treasure. He's been in the voice game for decades. It's been his entire career. He's actually the 12th Earl of Portland. He's royalty. He's been in the House of Lords, and he's an amazing guy. So I have a bit of a sentimental love now for 007 Racing because Tim Bentinck is in it, and he's so wonderful. A great interview with that.
So if by the way, if you like everything that's been going on here, and you want to get a piece of this 007 action, you can buy this man's book on Amazon right freaking now. There's a link. Link is in the description. Kindle $5, paperback $25. Dang good price. Jared, why should people buy your book?
I would say what I mentioned before, to read the experience, the raw experience of the people who played the game. That's my favorite thing about it. But my almost equal second favorite thing about it is I think it's a great resource to have on your shelf. When you're a big gamer like you guys are, and I am, especially retro kind of game. Yeah. And you're like, man, I want to get in and I want to play as many of these Bond games as I can. You can certainly go look it up, but why not have a nice little book that you can make a note in? Hey, I beat this one. I'm still looking for this one. I kind of I like it as a catalog, and I love it as an experience catalog from the people. So that would be my pick.
So you're hitting it from two angles. You got the James Bond video game reference.
Yes.
Be like, hey, I want to know some fact, like, what about this game or whatever. Instead of Googling, you just have this book you pull down from the shelf, because let's say the apocalypse happens and it's 5 years after the apocalypse. Let's say it's 5 years after the apocalypse and your life depends on knowing when did View to the Kill. Like, let's say you're doing a trivia night. Warlord's doing a trivia night where if you get it wrong, you get sacrificed to the gods, thrown into the pit. You're Jason. I'm doing a bit here, please. And your life depends on you correctly answering the question. When did James Bond: A View to the Kill come out on what system? And if you don't have this book in your hands,
screwed. You
will die. So to prevent yourself from dying, buy this book.
I mean, $25 to live is not too shabby.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, $25 so that you can die another day.
I knew you were going to do this at some point. You're going to make a pun out of a Bond title.
Yeah, he's good for it. I want to point out while you have this graphic up, just because I need to do this. The cover, as you can tell, was made to kind of look like a PS2 game cover. Mm-hmm. And my son did the graphic design on it, and my son Jordan, who's in college, he didn't make the digital characters. This dude named Steven, you know what? I want to give him his full props, so please allow me to.
Oh, please
open up. Steven Andrew is a gentleman I met on X when I just put out an all call for someone who could make digital characters. He was the original designer on the characters, so he turned in those, and then Jordan, my son, took those characters and then he made the trade dress, and I'm really proud of my boy. So I had to mention that as we look.
So if he's got the touch, then he must be quite the Goldfinger.
Oh my god! I'm gonna give the original writer and title creators of the Bond series, book-wise, they knew what they were making. They knew the puns they were making.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, going back to Goldfinger, famously, they have a character named Pussy Galore, and I remember when one of the guys on the movie, I don't remember if the writer or director, was kind of challenged on that, like what were you thinking? He was like, we were thinking that adults would get it and kids shouldn't get it. If your kid gets it, you've done something wrong.
Okay, yeah. So I love that clip, but what I love more is Sean Connery's reaction. Like he looks so done with it. He just looks,
I think he actually says, "You must be joking," or "I must be dreaming." One of the two. I think he said, "I must be dreaming."
But it just is his face. I'm getting the clip right now.
It's just I cannot be saying this right now. I can't.
Like somebody wrote this and I'm gonna read it for goodness sakes.
I'm an actor. Okay, here we go.
Here we go. Have out of focus. That's in focus.
My name is Pussy Galore.
He looks so done. He looks so done.
That look at his face is like, I cannot be. I
Yeah.
can't. This
Must
is-
be dreaming.
The things I do for a paycheck.
Oh goodness. So yeah, that we've pretty much rounded out the PS1 N64 era, and now it's the PS2 era, which is what I would call middling success, like pretty successful games. Nothing will ever be GoldenEye.
Yeah, I think the PS2 era is kind of defined by EA basically was like, all right, we have no Bond games, let's make our own Bond games. So they do
Yeah.
Everything or Nothing, Nightfire, which I know one of them didn't have Pierce Brosnan in it, and the other one did.
Yeah, I think they start with Agent Under Fire, which doesn't
Yeah.
have him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that was my boy Bentink either. I'm not sure who did the voice on that one off the top of my head. And then then it's Nightfire and Everything or Nothing. And I know they had Pierce for Everything or Nothing. They had Pierce and Willem Dafoe was the bad guy, and like Judi Dench, I think, came in.
Yeah,
on it.
like basically EA is just like, we're gonna make our own Bond game.
They're like, screw it, we're
I-
going all in.
I applaud the
William
effort. I
Dafoe.
applaud the effort for them. honestly.
William Dafoe.
Yeah, he plays the villain in Everything or Nothing, the video game. It's crazy.
Wow, that's a name I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, he plays like a protege of Max Zorin from Christopher Walken's portrayal in A View to a Kill. So it's almost kind of a quasi sequel to A View to a Kill, which I thought was very clever.
I mean, and the other thing to kind of note about this era is, Spectre was kind of legally untouchable up until I think like about
Mhm,
10 or so years ago, because like there was a whole
Mhm.
lawsuit with it.
mhm. All part of that Thunderball thing.
Yeah, because you had like I think during the Moore era, you had the not Blofeld, but then after they got the rights back, they went back and retroactively made him Blofeld. But
Yeah.
fair enough, that's fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. So yeah, your Bond knowledge is impressive there, Nick. So yeah, the PS2 era is I call the mildly successful era, but it is also at the same time that people start carrying cell phones, and this is when the flip phone games come into play.
Oh.
So right after your first PS2
Java.
Yes, right after your first PS2 game of Agent Under Fire, you get 007 Ice Racer, and you also get 007 Hover Chase. Both games slapdash put together Java games built around Die Another Day, because there's an ice chase and a hovercraft chase in Die Another Day. And so we're at that era now, where some quick shovelware company can make a little something that they can brand as Bond, get it out there just because they want people to see the movie, and it's in the modern zeitgeist. So now you're getting flip phone games in there too, which is where
I
a
do.
lot of these games come from.
While we are in this era, I do want to give some flowers to the GBA, because the GBA had some legit impressive
Yep.
James Bond games, like the Nightfire
Yep.
game for GBA. Like this is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's legit.
All right, let me just. It's a little weird where it's like I got to stop sharing and then reshare it just to kind of get things. So this is a Game Boy Advance game, guys. Yeah, they did a 3D first-person shooter James Bond game. Like this is
Yeah, but-
legit impressive. This is
It's not
very
bad.
impressive.
Yes, it's not a bad game.
Wow, that's a 3DS.
That's
Game
advanced.
Boy Advance. Game
That's
Boy
Game Boy
Advance.
Yeah, they almost all these games that, well, I don't know about almost all, but a good chunk of these games that we talk about that were released on, PS2 and stuff would often get a GBA, or as you were saying, like a 3DS port, and they're not bad.
Yeah.
They're not bad. Definitely a cut above the Java games, which did come out. And not only do you get the flip phone Java games, but you also get web-based sort of Java games that you can play on the website. And that's where a lot of the more obscure games I found are these website-based games that you can't even find them anymore. They're gone.
Well, no, Newgrounds is gone.
A lot of these places are just gone. They're just gone.
Well, I mean, I take that back. Newgrounds is still around as a site, but I don't know what it does.
I'm warning you, the music you're about to hear is complete ass.
Oh yeah, that's that one that's kind of like Hard Days. What was that one called? That was
Top Agent Mobile.
Top Agent.
Yeah, we might be getting a little bit ahead of the game.
Just a little bit. We're in the early to mid 2000s now, and that's a weird hodgepodge because now phone games are getting better. As you can see, this is a better phone game for the era. Believe it or not.
Oh my God! I just went to it. Newgrounds is still around, but I'm not even going to bother trying to find the games I used to play. I'm not even. Gonna bother.
Oh, yes, it's Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace, yeah, it's really cool. These games you're looking at now, Top Agent, Quantum of Solace, they were thought to be lost to time for a while, but then people figured out how to emulate them here using PCs and capture and all that, and so you can play them again. But for there was a spell where if you didn't play them or still have, there were dudes keeping their old Razor phones just because that was the only way to have these old Bond games. This guy I interviewed for several of them, Luis from Ibagué in Colombia. That guy is insane. He had all these Razor phones with all these games on them, and thank God for him, Ro. I never would have found anyone to interview. They're fascinating, but now, as you see on your screen,
oh no, somebody else is talking about James Bond. Oh wait, that's us.
No, that's us. Like and subscribe.
Yes, please. If you also like your James Bond game shaken but not stirred, please give us a like.
I thought it was downloaded or uploaded.
I a lot of the times I get into these streams and I get into it and I forget to like say, hey, give me money, please.
Give them some money. Some coin.
If you don't give me a like, I will hit you with a hammer.
Oh, of course you will.
No, it's literally a band hammer, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Also, I can hit them with a horny hammer too. So
man.
Oh, for the love of pus.
So yeah, that's the era of the PS2. It has After Everything or Nothing. They actually do.
Oh, the things I do for Arm Day. That's not a Bond reference, but it's in the style of it.
I'm just gonna pretend. I'm just gonna keep talking about Bond games. So I think there was two more after we get to that sort of Everything or Nothing. And by the way, one of the great things about the Bond games from the PS2, PS3 era is they oftentimes come with their own unique and new theme songs for the games, and they're very good. There's some very good theme songs involved in these games.
I know. So right before we close out this era, because I think to close out this era, we talk about From Russia with Love. But before we do that, there's two games that I want to touch upon. They're not James Bond video games, but they're definitely in the style that I believe they're mentioned. First off is the rare game Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark, yeah. It's very much a continuation of GoldenEye.
And the next one is Kate Archer.
That one
I don't know.
No One Lives Forever.
Oh yeah. No One Lives Forever. I did mention that in the book because I do have a chapter where it's like kind of close to Bond games, and I almost gave No One Lives Forever sort of its own look and chapter. But the more I dug into it, the more I realized the producers specifically wanted to separate themselves from Bond. They want, which is challenging.
Bullshit.
Hey, that's what they said.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
So you're saying they're saying something with their mouth, but in their head, they're thinking something completely different.
All right. I was pulling this up anyway, but here is the intro to No One Lives Forever, okay? mean, come on.
I know, man.
Look at this intro. Look at this intro and tell me they're not trying. By the way, this game is amazing. This game is great. I love this game, you know, but to say they were not trying to make a James Bond game is bullshit.
You know, I'm not going to fight you. I just mentioned it in the book. It said,
like, the music is very James Bond-esque. This is very much a James Bond intro. They have the woman dancing. I mean, she's fully clothed. That's a little bit inaccurate. But, like, it is very much meant to be a James Bond-style intro. This is a crash out. Dark time.
all I can tell you is what I found.
I will mark it as best I can because I have to.
Oh, my God. No One Lives Forever is a very much a Bond song.
Yeah, I do have a couple of chapters in the back about Bond-related games where we talk about, like, James Pond, the fish-based game series. We talk about there's LCD games that, you know, the old Tiger Electronic handhelds. There's GoldenEye on LCD that I talk about. James Bond pinball machines, which are a lot fewer than you would think.
What about Spy versus Spy?
I talk about Spy Hunter.
Okay.
Because I felt like that was pretty close, but those were the ones I really touched on because I felt like those were the ones closest. And like I said, I almost wrote a thing about No One Lives Forever, but after I got into it, they were like the producers were so saying they were so distant from it. I was like, you know what? You want to be distant from it? Be distant from it. I don't care.
It feels like post hoc, like if you play the games, it is very clear they're making a James Bond game. Which, by the way, I have no problem with that. I think
no,
cool.
I own that game. I own it.
But like to try and distance yourself from it, say, oh, we weren't trying to make it's such clear bullshit.
That's like me saying,
like literally the organization is called Harm, you know, which is totally not Spectre. She has a boss that is totally not M. She has gadgets that are totally not like Bond. Okay.
There's actually a 1960s spy movie kind of, you know, in that craze called Agent for Harm. HARM. There's a 60s movie called Agent for Harm.
I mean, there was a parody called Casino Royale.
Oh, don't get me started on Casino Royale. Don't get me started. Do not wind me up on that. I'll go into my crash out.
But like, I love No One Lives Forever, and so you know the reason why we haven't gotten a remaster of it is because the legality of the game is a very tangled mess that no one wants to untangle. Like I think Night Dive tried to get it done like a couple of times, and I think like Fox says we don't know if we own the rights and we don't feel like looking into it, but you do it and we'll sue you and then we'll figure it out.
It'll be fun for everybody.
So basically what it's going to take is somebody who has the money and the willpower just to go forward with it and is willing to do a lawsuit to get everything settled and figured out.
Yeah, you know, that reminds me of the guys who were just kind of on their own remastering GoldenEye. If you're familiar with that, there was like this group and they were remastering GoldenEye on their own, doing an amazing job, updated graphics and all this stuff, and then Eon stepped in or whoever. It might not have specifically been Eon.
Well, remastering GoldenEye, there's been a couple of attempts. Like there's GoldenEye Source you can play on the PC. That's pretty good. They basically put GoldenEye in the Source engine. That's pretty fun. I played it. And then like Rare was doing it during the Xbox era, like retextures and everything. But the problem is GoldenEye, the rights are split essentially three ways. You got Rare and Microsoft, Nintendo, and then Eon. And Eon, and the big thing is, the reason it took so long for a GoldenEye game is Eon always wants their games to reflect the current Bond. That's why when we get into like the newer era, we talk about the GoldenEye remaster for the Wii.
Yeah, that's what's coming up next.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a different Bond visually, but still James.
I need to finish my thing here. So like that's why it took until after No Time to Die, because we're kind of in like a inter-Bond era or whatever. The fact that there's technically no Bond at the moment. That's why Eon allowed the GoldenEye remaster to happen on the Switch and the Microsoft Xbox.
And in the GoldenEye remaster, it's Daniel Craig as James Bond in GoldenEye.
No, I'm talking about the one that was released for the Switch Online and the more recent one.
Oh, I didn't realize they had a remaster because, like I said, I knew what you were talking about. Like they couldn't figure out who could even use GoldenEye because does it go on Xbox Live or does it go on
Do you have a Nintendo Switch?
Nintendo Switch stuff? Yeah, I do.
So if you subscribe to the Switch Online service, you have the expansion pass for the N64. GoldenEye's on there right now, so you can literally play
Oh,
GoldenEye.
wow. I mean,
I know what you're doing tonight.
you know, it's funny. Like I think remasters are neat and stuff, but like I have an N64 and a copy of GoldenEye, and I go out and play it on a 27-inch tube TV, like God intended, and I love it.
All right. So let's close out the PS2 era with kind of like the big Kahuna game
From Russia.
from Russia with Love. So what can you tell me about it? Because this game kind of feels like an outlier among all the other games of this era.
Yeah, you know, EA, like you said, EA was like, you know, we're making our own stories and all that, and then they thought, well, maybe it'd be clever to do a throwback game. Take From Russia with Love. They really expanded. There's a lot of fun things you can do in that game. Nick, I don't know if you played it, but like you can
I haven't.
fly around in the jetpack from Thunderball, and it brings in a fair amount of the Connery era with Connery's voice, which is fun. You know, you can hear he's a little older, but he's having fun, and that's great.
Yeah.
He goes up against not Spectre. I think in the game it's called Octopus, something like that.
Yeah.
And they really expand it, kind of make it bigger and more bombastic. It is fun. It is a fun game. It reminds me, the gameplay kind of reminded me of kind of Call of Duty-ish. I think it's you can still see your character like over the shoulder, third person. But the my fun bit of trivia for that one is Connery goes in to EA. I think they set up a recording for him. I think he lives in the Bahamas part of the year, and I think they set up a studio for him there. He goes in there, records all of his lines, all the stuff for the game, does it in like a full day. Thanks, guys. Blah blah blah. The engineers go back to play it that night, and something messed up. And they lost everything.
Oh,
And so they had to, like, hat in hand, call him the next day and be like, we lost everything. And this is Sean Connery. You know, you either got to pay up or
kiss his ass.
Because, you know, he ended up being the sweetest guy about it. He came in, re-recorded for free the next day. And I was like, man, you guys got so lucky because, you know, it's a Connery.
You're lucky he's in his retirement phase.
Yeah, if
he doesn't give a shit anymore. He's like, you know what? You know what? Like, he's like, I'm relaxed. I got laid last night. You know, I'm Sean Connery. I think it's pretty safe to say.
I think you're right. But yeah, that is a neat story. And on the game itself, I think they actually tell that story. I don't know if you have to. I can't remember if you have to unlock the content or something, but they have behind like making of little videos on the game itself. And I think that guy told the story on that. In my book, I went ahead and I quoted right out of the little making of video, so you don't even have to go play it. You just read it.
See, in my opinion, it is the biggest crime against humanity that like they never bothered to bring back Sean Connery while still alive. I know in Skyfall they wanted to, like the Kincaid character was originally meant to be like. So here was like my ultimate pitch for this is a Craig era James Bond movie where you have where it's basically like a villain and you don't know who it is, okay? And so you see Craig is going through like a dark warehouse or whatever, and then you hear, "I used to have your job," until they abandoned me. It's like, "Who are you? Who are you?" And then from the shadows, you see Sean Connery emerge and says, "Bond, James Bond." And then you hear the classic theme going. I mean, this is playing off the James Bond as a codename theory.
Yeah.
Which it has been debunked because it's not a code name, even though I think it would have worked really well. But because you have like Roger Moore visiting Tessa Bond's grave or whatever,
right?
And then,
and
you have like Moneypenny from like the Connery era, right up until the end of
the Moore era,
and then even Q lasts through the Brosnan era. The only really hard cutoff is Brosnan to Craig.
Yeah.
Yep.
So speaking of hard cutoffs,
hey, what a segue.
So after From Russia with Love, EA loses the Bond license and Activision picks it up.
Sounds about right. Yeah. There's a ton of phone games and web-based games that
Mhm.
I'm looking at. Just little nitnoid. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phone games / web-based games come out between From Russia with Love and the next game proper. And the next game proper is the Quantum of Solace game on PS3.
Yeah. Which is also a Casino Royale game because
Yeah,
they weren't able to do it in time for Casino Royale. What? Oh, gotta go, Jason.
I don't know. I'm gonna shut off the big light and see if that changes anything.
Oh, okay.
I just noticed you can literally see everything in my room.
I mean, it's fine, but do what you gotta do, sir.
Yeah, I'm weird. Okay.
That's fine. We're all weird here. One guy is wearing a faux tuxedo for his shirt. He thinks
Faux tuxedo? Faux, you say?
fake. You're fake, sir.
You're a phony.
Phony.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. Casino Royale is a huge chunk of what you play in the Quantum of Solace, and it is Activision, and plays very much like a Call of Duty style game.
Yeah, so I call this the Call of Duty era.
The Call of Duty era, and you know what though? It's fine. Like it
For a
it
Bond
absolutely-
game, yeah, I think
works.
it works for a Bond game, yeah.
It totally
I
works.
don't know which one y'all are talking about. So.
Quantum of Solace.
Before we get too deep into this, there is another game that I wanted to kind of talk about from the PS2 era that we skipped over. GoldenEye Rogue Agent.
Oh yeah. What an interesting game.
Yeah, that was that was when they were trying to make a sequel to GoldenEye, but they couldn't. So it's like the guy literally has a golden eye or whatever. It's
Yeah. It's cool because you don't play Bond. You play a different 00 who's been had bad experiences, and he kind of becomes a bad guy, and you're working for Goldfinger to take out Dr. No, or vice versa. I can't remember which one off the top of my head.
I think
right
the
now.
GoldenEye was provided by Dr. No or whatever.
Yeah, it's really cool and unique storytelling. And it's a neat game in concept, but people were pissed about it because it had the GoldenEye name on the cover, and it wasn't GoldenEye.
Yeah, like they were trying to make a pseudo sequel to GoldenEye. I mean, history. I mean, as we'll get into this era, they keep trying to recapture that GoldenEye magic, and they keep failing.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I also should have mentioned too, near the tail end of the PS2 era, and I know especially we're getting into the PS3 era. You might notice, especially after Quantum comes out, the next big Bond game is Bloodstone.
Yeah,
And you might notice like the storytelling is like kind of getting better, and like the stories are pretty cool. And that, as I found out, is because Bruce Fierstein, who wrote the movies GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies, basically Eon said, "Hey, because they started using Purvis and Wade as their movie writers, but they liked Fierstein, so they said, we want you in our video game division." He's writing all these now. The same guy that wrote GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies starts writing all the games.
so essentially,
Wait.
Bloodstone is like the Activision equivalent of like Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, and All or Nothing, like
100%, yeah.
original Bond game, but with the current Bond. So it's kind of like that style game.
Yeah, and this dude Bruce Fierstein's writing a lot of these games. He's interviewed in my book. Also,
Is Bloodstone a good game in your opinion?
Yes, I like Bloodstone a good bit. I think it's fun to play through. I think it has a good story thanks to Bruce Fierstein. And he got a little bit screwed because he left it on a cliffhanger because they thought they were going to make another one and they didn't. That's the bummer of it, is there's a cliffhanger ending and that Activision just never got back to it. And Fierstein loves that game. Like he's very proud of his story in that game, and he should be. It's a cool story.
So it came out for Nintendo DS, Windows, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. So
Mhm.
yeah, I could just grab the PS3 version then.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I like all these games. I don't think there's a bad one per se in this entire, I think you and I probably agree. Like as far as sort of the PS1, 2, 3 era, it probably 007 Racing is sort of the wonkiest one.
Yeah.
The others are all like.
I know
Other
Nightfire. I know Nightfire has its fans.
Yeah, I as I discovered doing the book and talking to all these people, like there are fans for every one of the PS2 era games and PS3. The one thing that and I'm skipping forward just a little bit, but like they not that far actually, because after Bloodstone, you get the remake of GoldenEye, and then you get 007 Legends. And people got angry about Legends, and that is where I will never understand why.
I think a lot of it is kind of the same reason why people have like this visceral reaction to the GoldenEye remake is that it's superimposing Craig onto because it's like because the GoldenEye remake is actually they're doing the GoldenEye story, but two things. One, it has Daniel Craig instead of Pierce Brosnan. Also, I believe they updated to have it set in like the quote unquote modern times when the game was made, and they did the same thing 007 Legends where like you have Bond going through all these scenarios like Moonraker with Daniel Craig. What the fuck?
See, that's where I depart from other gamers. They're like, you go through Goldfinger with Daniel Craig. Oh, what the hell? Moonraker. Oh, and I just like, I think it's just fun. I'm like, I think it's neat.
No,
I think a lot of it is Daniel Craig as Bond is a very divisive.
True.
You either love Daniel Craig as Bond or you hate him. I love Daniel Craig as Bond. I love his era, but there are people who hate his era of Bond.
I don't,
and I think that transfers over to it.
I don't hate his era, but it is my least favorite era. But I still think it's okay.
Casino Royale, in my opinion, is one of the best Bond films ever, and Vesper is literally the best Bond girl ever.
I'm sorry, to both of those.
Casino Royale is basically a remake.
No, that is the first time they did that novel because they didn't even have the rights to that novel up until before that.
Okay, kind of. I'm going to interject here. The first time that Bond was ever on screen, this guy
1950s,
and that was Casino Royale with Barry Nelson, and it's not bad. It's pretty close to the original book. I actually think it's closer than Casino Royale the movie. I like Casino Royale, the Daniel Craig film. I think it may be his best one. But
Skyfall, in my opinion, is his best one.
I like Spectre a little more than most, but I'm gonna piss everybody off. I think Casino Royale is overrated. I think it's good, not great. And I think
Quantum of Solace is okay. It kind of got hampered by the writer's strike, but even what it is, I think it's kind of fine.
It plays really well.
Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace is. It's basically the second half of Casino Royale. Like it's like the only sequel, like straight out sequel you have.
Bond. The only time they did a sequel was actually at the very beginning, was when they went from Dr. No to From Russia with Love. That's a straight sequel, but it's not as obvious. But yeah, Quantum plays better if you watch it immediately after you watch Casino. But I ruffle a lot of Bond feathers when I say I'm not big on Vesper. I mean, I think she's beautiful and charming, but I like to remind everyone, I go Tracy Bond as the best Bond girl.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But I go a bunch of other Bond girls above Vesper, because Vesper.
Man, you're really peeling off the Band-Aid, aren't you?
Vesper betrayed James, and not a lot of other Bond girls did that.
Okay, so
that bothers me.
Some of my favorite Bond girls. I hate Die Another Day, but I think Halle Berry was a great Bond girl.
She looked fantastic coming out of that ocean, didn't she?
Yeah. She did.
Also, I actually do like the Russian woman from GoldenEye. My favorite, like, stop it. You're like Boys with Toys.
Boys with Toys. Yeah, she's good. She's very good. Isabella.
I just love GoldenEye because it's such a moment. Like that because it's like that post it's so steeped in like that post-Soviet collapse.
Oh yeah,
it's like
it's perfect.
That movie only could be made literally that year.
Oh yeah, its timing was great. Everything is great.
I just love like and you got Tina Turner, you got the smoky like statues of Lennon, like
it's perfect.
Oh,
it's perfect. Top tier theme song, 100%.
But yeah, I don't like Die Another Day. Like that's when they try to go modern. Madonna's Bond song is not good.
Yeah, I'm not huge on it either. The Bond franchise is weird because it always gets informed by something else that's popular at the time.
Yeah, the Craig era is very informed by Jason Bourne.
Yeah, and Die Another Day was very informed by Fast and the Furious.
Makes me wonder if a Bond movie had come out when, I don't know, Underworld was popular. Think about that.
I mean, the Brosnan era was very much going on around that time. Wait. I'm trying to think. Underworld came out 03, and then Die Another Day came out 04. So yeah, they didn't have time to do a response. By the time they did Casino Royale in 06, so that was a whole different era. Isn't it? Like, it is really weird. Like 03 to 06, it feels like two different worlds. It's like just a span of 3 years. It feels like a totally different world.
Yeah, especially as a Bond fan, because you couldn't have more different movies than Die Another Day and Casino. And like I said, I like Casino, but
Okay, Die Another Day was 2002, so the last Bond film came out in a year before Underworld. I think Underworld was 2003.
Yeah, and like you said, the Craig era is so Bourne flavored, for better or worse. It's got its pluses and minuses, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I've never seen
my biggest problem with Spectre. I'm sorry, that Bond girl is the worst Bond girl ever. I do because
I'm not a fan.
I love Vesper. Like they have such a great dynamic. Okay, and then you have this woman. It's like she like there's that scene where they're in the train, which is obviously an homage to From Russia with Love.
Right.
Where she takes apart the gun or whatever. He looks at her, it's like, I don't need to teach you a damn thing. And it's like so he falls in love with her, and they have no chemistry, none at all.
I wouldn't buy it either.
Literally, a man Miranda Frost had more chemistry with Bond. Rosamund Pike,
Not fighting.
and she was literally playing a frosty bitch.
So what you're telling me is this: that toilet paper has more romance with James Bond in that movie than this chick.
I mean, at the very least, with Jinx and Bond in Die Another Day, you can at least tell they were enjoying each other's company. I didn't get romance kind of stuff from it, but I definitely feel like they enjoyed working with each other, kind of thing.
Yeah, I haven't been big on the gal that they use for Spectre / No Time to Die either. I mean, nothing against the actress. I think she's fine and all that, but the chemistry never did feel right to me either.
Literally the Mrs. Fields character from Quantum of Solace, who her whole thing is I'm not going to sleep with you, Bond, proceeds to sleep with Bond, and then gets drenched in oil in a very poorly done homage to Goldfinger.
Correct. Yes.
Her character was terrible, and even she is better than oh my god, I hate hey, here, check out the stationery. Literally, if anybody else but James Bond did that line, he would.
You would.
I mean, he's Bond. He's James Bond. What are you gonna do?
James Bond fumbling, still managed to hit the field goal.
No, Bond. That's what he does.
Also, please tell me they had to have known calling herself Mrs. Fields. The cookie brand. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I realize they just made another stealth pun. Because getting the cookie.
What?
He got her cookies.
I get it. I got it.
In the credits, her full name is Strawberry Fields, which is a Beatles reference, of course.
Oh God!
Didn't know if you know that.
You might as well name it Nookie at this point.
So you're saying he did it all for the Nookie?
He did it all for the Nookie.
Anyway, back to games.
Yeah. This is a Friday Night Frenzy where the topics are more like a set of guidelines.
It's like guidelines. I'm familiar with it. Yes, I looked into it. I was like, yeah, I know what I'm getting into. But this conversation sort of birthed itself from Legends, and we got into the whole Craig era, and that is the hook of Legends is playing Craig in one of every other actor's Bond movie, and some people just couldn't. I can't take it, and I thought
why they chose Die Another Day as the Brosnan representative. Why?
I'm kind of glad they did because it's a game made up of as basically 5 other movies. And let's be honest, if you're going to do one that's kind of a little bit of each, no one's ever going to do Die Another Day. So it kind of needed a moment. So I wasn't mad about it. I enjoyed it. And I also like the way that I feel like a lot of people miss the fact that it's a Skyfall based game because it's the beginning of it is Skyfall, and remember he gets shot and he falls off the train and he hits the water.
This is the end.
Yeah, and the whole game is him playing through his memories as he's kind of dying.
I'll give them points. It is an interesting framing device.
And I thought it was a great idea, but people are like, "No, Jared, you suck." But I'm just like,
So the entirety of the game is playing in Bond's head while he hears Adele singing to him.
Pretty much, yeah. He's dying and he's living his memories. And oh, by the way, you get to play.
But does he die another day?
I'm ignoring you. You also get to play Bond in License to Kill, which is, Timothy Dalton is my favorite Bond film. So I'm going to be excited about that. So, but yeah, that 007 Legends, even though there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games ish between there and 6 games ish between there and First Light. First Light is the next proper game.
So I think after this we kind of enter. I feel like we're kind of like a wilderness years kind of thing. So what kind of Bond games do we get in this era in the wilderness?
In the wilderness years, in the wilderness years, you still get another web-based game because they're doing the Young Bond, James Bond novels, and there's almost always some sort of a little game you can play on their website. So you got that going on. And then what you also get going on, you get James Bond World of Espionage, which is another handheld, game. Here's what you really get going on. It's DLC. They did a Best of Bond DLC pack for Forza Horizon 4, where you could get a bunch of Bond cars to drive. Pretty cool. They did a Rocket League 007 download. So you drive in the Rocket League and you could get the Bond car to do that.
Real quick, what's your favorite Bond car?
I'm going to have to go with the Aston Martin that he drove in the Living Daylights, which is an Aston Martin.
The DB6.
It's a V8.
I believe it's a DB6.
It's got a different name. It's very close to a DB6. It's Aston Martin V8. Come to me.
V8. V8 Vantage.
Yeah, there you go.
I've
got the damn car right here, hanging on my wall.
I believe that's the same car they use in No Time to Die.
I know in No Time they brought back the DB5. And
they brought that back since like Casino Royale and it showed up.
Yeah, they've used it several times.
But I think in No Time to Die they use a different Aston Martin, and that's
you may be right. Honestly, I've seen that movie once, so I haven't memorized.
Well, it's basically like the car he has towards the end of the film, and then there is like at the ending scene where the Bond girl is saying to not James Bond daughter or whatever.
Who cares?
You're not James Bond's daughter, even though you have his last name
and his DNA, maybe.
Okay, so it's a Aston Martin V8.
I know it was a V8.
It's the Timothy Dalton one.
Yeah, that car's so bad, man. It's so cool. Like,
well, I don't know. Give it a flamethrower, rocket launchers, and a thermonuclear device. Let's see what happens.
It's got a rocket launcher.
The Craig era was actually really good with its references, like we mentioned. The Inspector they did kind of like that whole Rushwood love sequence, and I do like kind of a No Time to Die in the beginning where he says, "We have all the time in the world." You kind of get them playing a little bit.
They hit you with the member berries in No Time to Die more than once, so they certainly did.
Well, I mean, they did want his character to be the same Bond that was in the older movies.
No, they didn't.
Well, because it's Craig's era, and Craig's era is so weird because it's the one that's most in its own box. And going back to video games, by the way, because you go from the movie Quantum of Solace to Skyfall, so you go from him being basically a newly minted 00 to a grizzled old man.
That's what I didn't like. That's what I didn't like about the Craig era.
And the intent was, as I learned from my new best friend Bruce Fierstein, the intent was, because I told you he wrote Bloodstone, and he was the intent was that was supposed to fill the gap. The Activision games were supposed to show you missions he did between those two films, and to fill in the gap was supposed to be the video games, but didn't work out so great for Activision. So,
Ouch.
So, I will say one of my favorite sequences from Skyfall is the problem with company cars is that they have trackers. And then he rolls open the garage door, and you see the classic Aston Martin, and then you hear the James Bond theme, and then she's like, "Oh, that's totally inconspicuous." And that's what I love about Skyfall is like the tail end. You basically have Judi Dench being a Bond girl, and my favorite moment where he flips up the button and she says, "Go ahead, eject me. See if I care." Like, oh, I love it. I love it. Like, it just that scene is so Connery coded. I love it.
Yeah, they did well on tapping into some classic stuff, and I did enjoy Skyfall. It was a fun film.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen that one. I've seen most of them, of the newer movies, but I haven't seen them all, and that's the one I missed. I know that for sure.
See, my problem is No Time to Die feels unnecessary because, like, the way that Spectre ends, where it's like he's in the car, he turns, he's got the woman, and they drive off. That literally just feels like the end of the era for him. And then they do he abandons her. Like, why would he, like he just leaves her with? I'm sorry, Bond would never do that, especially
It was weird. It was weird.
And then they do like a 5 years later thing, and just like.
I would believe it if she died. Like, I don't know, a boulder fell out of nowhere and crushed her.
Like Wile E. Coyote.
I would believe that versus, he just abandons her. No, that's not James Bond. Not in books, not in movies, ever. No.
Yeah.
Maybe the women abandon him from time to time, but he doesn't abandon them.
Oh, no, we're getting a little bit too modern here. So speaking of modern, that brings us that now allows us to see the very first light.
It does, yeah. That first light, and they dropped a pretty cool little phone game called Cypher 007 back in 2023, and then you get first light. And I have not personally played it yet because I'm cheap and I always wait for games to go on sale.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I was, the Bond community is kind of weird and finicky, as you know.
Yeah.
I was like, is this game gonna pop or not pop? I'm dropping a video game book the same time it comes out. Like,
I think a lot of people are queuing up Bond projects. Like that's a bigger reason why I'm doing Quartermain, because like Quartermain is set to come out 2027. It's actually going to come out on the 60th anniversary of one of the Connery films. I can't remember.
A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where he played Quartermain.
No, from 1967. Sorry.
Oh.
Like that one. I can't remember which one it was.
67. Off the top of my head, I want to say that's Thunderball, or You Only Live Twice.
You Only Live Twice.
You Only Live Twice. Yeah.
Yes, I'm launching it on the 60th anniversary because, like, my thing is.
Oh, I thought you said 16th anniversary, and that's why I went to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, because he plays Quartermain in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's also part of the reason why I because Quartermain's public domain, because I can do whatever I want with
it. Yeah. No, I get it. I get public domain characters. I use them.
Yeah. So You Only Live Twice, because I figure they're going to announce a Bond actor either end of this year, and so there's going to be like a build up in 2027 towards the next Bond thing. So I figured that's the perfect time to drop it.
Yeah. So I was nervous about dropping the Bond book when this game came out, and because the rumors were kind of split. It's going to be, trash. It's going to be great. Seems like the vast majority of people are really liking it, and I'm like, cool. That's good. That's good. And my publisher and I have talked, and we may, if this book does decent enough, we may do a hardcover fancy edition, second edition, where we include First Light, because this game goes right up to First Light. I mentioned it in the closing because when I wrote it, it wasn't out yet. But I was like,
Funny
it's on the
thing
horizon.
is, the Bond series has always been very aware of its criticisms. Like, you go back to GoldenEye. There's literally an entire scene where Judi Dench is like, I think you're a sexist, misogynistic dinosaur. Like, literally just giving him the struggle session. You know, like a very modern ass kind of like beat down using like 90s language.
Mhm.
So and you know, and I feel like the Bond has been very aware of criticism, and they've done a few things like No Time to Die was very cheeky with it because you had like that one woman be like, "Oh, I'm 007 now" or whatever. You
Don't
know?
wind me up. You get wound up again.
They took that. The thing is, the way they marketed it and then the way it plays out in the movie, they rage bait so hard with that because like he's gone forever for a while, so another person gets assigned the name. But like, it's one of those like I'm a young hotshot agent that like I don't need you, but over the course of the movie, I'm going to grow to respect you. And by the very end, you know, and they do this like really stupid thing at the like for the final mission. He says, "Sir, can we have the 007 name temporarily reassigned to Craig?" It's literally done just for the purpose of it's so stupid because they literally like the only reason they do it is so that 007 can die.
It's all right. I'm gonna bottle up all my rant into one small thing. Like, it was totally rage bait. And the only thing I didn't like about her character is they were like, they just like, we're gonna make her kind of the girl version of Bond. She's gonna you know, dress in fashionable clothes, and she's gonna drive a cool car. And I was like, you missed such an opportunity for her to dress down and drive a Honda Civic. And so when Bond gives her crap about it, he's like, you know, 007 used to mean something or something like that. You know, she could come right back at him with, I don't think you ever understood the concept of a secret agent, because that would have been so good.
No. What happens? No. Here's what happens. She's driving that like really like crappy looking Honda Civic. You know, it's like, I don't think you understand. You know, it's like Bond used to mean something, and then she just looks at him. She shifts down, and the car just ratchets forward. And then you understand, yeah, it looks like a shitty Honda, but it's clapped out on the inside. Like this thing is making 700 horsepower.
Like that Mission Impossible car, like MI5, that little like it was a little yellow car. I think they got in.
You know, so like, you know, it does look like a shitty Honda. But it is fast as and the way I would do it, I'd have it be a 99 Honda Civic, so like it looks like a shitty Honda, but people who know be like, oh, that's a tuner car.
That's
you know,
a tuner, yes.
so when it just ratchets its forward, be like, it's like tuned up and it, you know, kind of thing. Like, and maybe like I would like she rats in like you'd see like kind of like the red brake calipers or whatever. You kind of get it, like maybe hint at it, be like, oh.
My overall point though is I just kind of wish they'd made her more of a unique character instead of being like, hey, look, it's girl Bond. Like, you don't have to do that. You can give her more of her own.
Ana de Armas was so wasted in this movie.
She was pleasant, that's for sure.
I mean, it's Ana de Armas. She's very pleasant on the eye.
Pleasant all day.
Like,
yeah.
I actually think there's this movie called Ghosted that she did with Chris Evans. It's like Netflix flop or whatever. She's more of a Bond secret agent character in that movie than she was in the actual Bond movie.
That's not good.
By the way, if you get a chance, watch Ghosted. It is like one of the best 6 out of 10 movies you'll ever see.
That's where I live. My wheelhouse is 6 out of 10s.
I would recommend Ghosted. It's not like a terrible movie. It is aggressively okay.
Actually, I have a live stream podcast called Best Under 5, where all I do is watch movies that have a 4.9 or lower on IMDb and try and find the good ones. It's fun.
What is that old show where they had a bunch of like this one normal person and all these animatronics watching movies and just shit talking them the entire
Mystery Science
Theater. Mystery Science Theater. I'm maybe the biggest fan you're ever going to meet. I watch an episode almost every day, quite literally.
I love it.
Ghosted had so many loops it threw me for a loop.
He got looped inside of the loops.
So there is an entire scene or like they have like a bunch of like other assassins trying to come for them, and it's just a bunch of MCU cameos. So it's like, oh, here's Sebastian Stan. Oh, here's Anthony Mackie, and then they get killed, and like it's just, and then at the end, and then in the final battle, Ryan Reynolds just randomly appears.
Really? Just materializes for no reason?
I feel like he does that in most of his films.
It is crazy, like I remember watching Hobbs and Shaw, and then Ryan Reynolds just appeared for a scene. Like, Ryan Reynolds, what are you doing in this movie?
I think he's shown up in some phone commercials. I don't know.
I'm here to sell you lasagna for no
no.
I'm such a grumpy old man.
Treaty, sir.
I'm such a grumpy old man. I used to go to the movies probably 12 to 20 times a year, and now I go maybe once. I watch. I'm so much more into watching things that I didn't see in the 80s and 90s than I am modern films. So I suck at this kind of. Although I did see two really good movies this year. I saw Masters of the Universe, which was pretty fun, exceeded expectations.
All right.
And I really liked Mortal Kombat 2. I was like, that was pretty fun. So
I haven't seen that one yet.
I really liked the first Mortal Kombat being like the more recent one.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
I didn't like I at the second one I just wasn't really interested in it, honestly. I
was more interested in the second one because I'm a big fan of the character Johnny Cage, and he's central to the second one.
Yeah.
And he's not even in the first one, which made me
Johnny Cage is the only one that has a character arc in this movie. Everyone else is just there.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And that's fine with me because I'm a Cage guy.
I was so far. I've been to the theater. Who the Raven? You missed out on a 6-7 joke, but that's okay.
Oh man, I'm so grumpy about movies these days.
I couldn't. It takes a lot to get me to even want to go see a movie.
Same.
I saw No Way Home in theaters. I enjoyed it. I'm probably gonna go see Dune Messiah because like Dune Messiah. I'm sorry, you got to see that in IMAX.
I've never been a Dune guy.
I may go see it. I may not. I don't know.
I'm not. I'm kind of on the fence about Doomsday. Like I don't know.
Doomsday.
There's no plot. There's nothing. Like there's nothing there. There's no plot there. It's just Doom bad. We kill Doom. Oh no, Doom wins. Like that's going to be the movie.
No, okay. Let me help Marvel out. I'm gonna go get Doomsday from DC and drop him right off in the middle of their movie and see what happens.
Oh my God, they're screwed.
Just to see what happens.
Oh my God.
I'm like Jason. It takes a ton to get me to go, and by a ton I mean like Johnny Cage or Tom Cruise. I'll go to see his.
Yeah,
films.
exactly.
Apparently, they're developing another Top Gun movie. And
Man,
they are.
Maverick. That was a good movie.
This will perfectly encapsulate kind of like how I feel about modern film. When I saw Maverick and the credits roll, this is a true story. Credits are rolling on Maverick, and I, to my surprise, discovered that I was literally weeping. And I thought to myself, why am I crying? And then it hit me. It had been so long since I saw a movie that just purely entertained me. And that's how I feel about modern cinema. There's just not enough movies that just purely entertain me the way that Tom Cruise did in that. I'm not even a big fan of the first Top Gun. Like I think the first Top Gun is okay, but that Maverick, it hit me.
First Top Gun is literally in like my top 5, top 3 of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I like it. But don't get me wrong, but I thought the sequel, you got to remember too, I'm a veteran. So like the 80s version, the Top Gun is like, the veteran part of my brain is like, that would never happen. That would never blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. That's the biggest complaint I've heard from actual naval people.
Yeah.
I'm from Corpus Christi, so
from what I hear, at the actual Top Gun school, if you make a Top Gun reference, you actually get fined $5.
I believe it. I mean, a Top Gun 86, 85, 86 is a hallmark 80s film, no doubt.
It is the greatest recruitment tool the Navy has ever had.
Oh, no doubt. Like they had their numbers got crazy after that.
Well,
I heard that like they actually set up recruiting stations outside of movie theaters at malls.
Oh yeah,
people coming right out of
It was a banger, man. It was an absolute banger for their recruiting. I mean, the Air Force did pretty well off of it too, because people were just like jets, you know, and sure. But yeah, I dig it. But yeah, Maverick, It was just a surreal experience that I'm like, why am I tearing up? And I thought, I was like, pure entertainment. As a combat veteran, pure unapologetic patriotism, which you don't see in movies anymore.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not going to put you guys on the spot to give your opinions on that, but for me, it felt so good.
Well,
Yeah.
I actually am like you on all three of those things, but that's about as far as we need to go on it. Because I mean, most other movies are like, we're the bad guys in some way, in addition to the good guys. You can't be both.
I think that's the reason
Good guys
why.
or the bad guys.
I think that's the reason why Independence Day, the first one, still kind of trucks on because Independence Day, is it schlocky as all hell? Yes. Is it fun? Hell yes.
Maximum.
Like we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. Like that speech.
I'll be salute guy.
You'll be I just love that. Like got that random Christian Slater cameo. Like Christian Slater just randomly in the movie. Yeah, the salute guy is Christian Slater. It's Christian Slater. It's doing the salute. It's literally Christian Slater. Like,
I got to go back and watch it. That was I worked at the movie theater in college. That was the first movie I ever showed as a projectionist. Independence Day.
that movie is so good. It's so quotable. Like I have got to get me one of these.
You know what though?
Close Encounter.
I'm ready for me to give you a hot take. Because like 20 years later, they did like Independence Day Resurgence sequel, and everyone hated
I
it.
hated it. Yeah.
That was fun as hell. I
You're
didn't
not
hate it
alone.
at all.
You're not alone.
I was like,
liked
it's dumb. It's a popcorn movie, but I thought it was fun.
I
Dude,
didn't like it. I hated it.
It's a movie that I don't have to think about it. I just sit down.
Yeah, you just go.
I sit down.
I mean, you literally have a guy, an old Jewish guy, in a bus full of kids in the desert, being chased by like this big alien queen. It's so stupid. I do like how they do the Jurassic Park homage, where they show it in like the
Mirror.
the mirror. Like that is straight out of Jurassic Park reference. I loved it.
Yeah. I just remember going to see it with my buddy. We went to the theater, and like it was already, social media was like, "This movie's ass," you know. When we watched it, it was like, I didn't hate it. Like it's kind of fun. That's kind of how I feel. If a movie's just fun, I'm fine with it.
If
Do you like Pacific Rim?
Sure.
Pacific Rim, the first one I've seen. The second one I haven't.
Second's ass. The second one's so.
I haven't seen the second one either, but I enjoyed the first. I mean, Idris Elba, you know, he's kind of he's one of those like guys you put in a movie is always good, you know. He's what I call movie enhancer.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, by the way, something I want to recommend if you want kind of like your Bond fix. Have you played the Phantom Liberty expansion for Cyberpunk 2077?
No, I've never even messed around with original Cyberpunk 2077. I mean, I know it when I see it.
Phantom Liberty is basically like it's basically kind of like it's like a sci-fi spy 'em up.
No, cool.
Like you're doing like spy stuff. Idris Elba's in it, by the way.
That dude's everywhere.
So like if you want kind of like your spy fix, Phantom Liberty I would very much recommend you play that.
Nice. I know for a while they were campaigning hard for Idris Elba as Bond, and
if it was like if they were doing this in like 2013,
as I was about to say, 15 years ago, absolutely, no
Yeah.
problem. Now he's aged out. He still looks great, no doubt. But I don't know if you guys fool with the Bond comics that Dynamite's been doing, which have been hit and miss, but mostly hit, pretty good stuff. They have a black M in that comic series, and I'm like, Idris Elba as M would be a wise decision.
Yes. Actually, I'll support that 100%.
Yeah,
M
I think
as
he'd be
M.
good. Yeah, Idris-
Interesting.
Yeah, I'd be in for it.
This is it.
This,
Trust me.
You know I do.
he dead.
Yeah, you're not gonna survive.
He
Something.
died.
he's got enhancement.
Now he's dying of radiation poisoning.
So me I'm right where you wanted me. Now tell me I'm out of this goddamn town.
Oh, he even looks like him.
I just cut surveillance cams.
Adios, Night City.
Should be back in the homeland by 2 a.m.
Yeah. What about you? Get your ticket out yet?
I hear the government's sealing a deal.
I told you. You're the president's favorite. Are you gonna walk out of this on a red carpet?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, you deserve it. I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for you. You know what I'm thinking about right now?
Tell me.
Taco stand back home. First
I
thing
could go
I'm
for
gonna do when
tacos
I get
right
off
now.
this train.
Yeah, I
is
could
head
always
right
go for
there.
tacos.
I swear those quesadillas come to me in my dreams.
Damn.
Place sure sounds tasty.
Yeah. You were the one that took me there in the first place.
All right, let me fast forward a little bit.
Yeah. There.
Show me, do you copy?
Uh-oh, something's happening.
Somebody got a passenger and he's carrying. I think we might be compromised. Can you hack the trap? Show me.
He's dead.
Yep.
So what do you think? You like it?
Oh, cool. Yeah, it definitely looks fantastic. It looks just like him. I when you said he was in, I figured voice acting, but it's full on him.
Yeah, no, I like what they can do is they can facial capture the actor and take them to whatever age they need him to be these days.
True. Good point.
This is the actual game.
Incredible. Just dazzling.
By the way, so do you want to know who's voicing the singer?
Hit me with it.
Grimes, otherwise known as Elon Musk's ape baby mama.
Oh,
Okay.
her.
Yeah, she plays a character named Lizzie Wizzy.
Oh, that's right. I know who that is.
Yeah, but yeah, I think you'd like Cyberpunk, Jared.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing some Cyberpunk. So of course, again, I was stuck in the PS3 era. I just for the first time in my life beat LA Noire.
L.A. Noire. Oh God, that's a game. I've heard about the game. I've seen the game. I haven't played it
I
myself.
think I own it. I think I have it for PS3 as well. Back there.
So
Interesting, cool game.
Yeah, I've never played it. I've heard lots of good things about it, but never played it myself.
So, Jared, I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna make an order real quick, but tell me, what are some other besides, like, we're talking about Bond games? What are some other not Bond games? Like okay, if you two things. What are some of the not Bond games you recommend? And if people wanted like a sample platter of James Bond video games through the eras, what 5 games would you recommend? And
Ooh, that's a good question. All right, some of the not Bond games mentioned. I told you that we talk about the James Pond game series, and by far the coolest one is James Pond 2 Operation RoboCod, which is a mixture of RoboCop and James Bond, except you're a fish.
Wait, wow, that's right. You play fish in that game.
So there's that. But I would say the other sort of stronger non-Bond games, the Spy Hunter series in general, is a classic. There's a few Spy Hunter games out there that you can play, and then if you want to get even sort of more tangential, it's not as realistically based, but sort of stealthy and spy. You've got the classic Metal Gear. Series. So those would be off the top of my head my recommendations for Bond adjacent games. Yeah. Man, that's a good question though about like the 5 sampler platter games. So I would just off the top of my head, let's pick one text-based game from the 80s. We'll use Goldfinger.
Okay.
Mainly because there was 2 of them that were done by Benson. He did A View to a Kill to come out with the movie, and then they did Goldfinger just because they had the license. So he had to do A View to a Kill on a timeline. Goldfinger, he has a little more room to breathe. So we're gonna go Goldfinger from the text-based games from the PC game era. I think probably The Spy Who Loved Me, sort of that Domark PC era. That would be game 2. As we get into the PS1 N64 era, it has to be GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be.
Yeah.
But let's just say something other than GoldenEye. 'Cause
Okay,
GoldenEye
if you're gonna,
is like, because like GoldenEye is the obvious one. I think
Okay.
I think that would be like the number 6 one. But like, because I feel like for this era, I would want somebody to experience something other than GoldenEye
okay,
to kind of get an idea of like the other Bond games of the era.
Then James Bond the stub toe. All right.
There you go, bud. There you go. You did it.
I'm gonna say I would go with Everything or Nothing, because all the PS2 era Bond games are good, and that one has Pierce and Judy and Willem Dafoe.
Okay, so that's the PS2 era, but what about the PS1 era? Because I do feel like the PS1 and PS2 era are 2 different eras.
Well, you made me pick 5, and I started in the I started with a text-based game in the 80s. Then I did a PC game from Domark, and then so I kind of lumped PS1 and 2.
Sorry, I wasn't listening at first. I
got you. So I may double back and pick one. So for 3, I will say we'll do Everything or Nothing. For 4, I will say you kind of moving into the PS3 era. I would say we're gonna do Bloodstone. Yeah, we'll do Bloodstone. And for my 5th one, I should pick like a super oddball. What's the 5th one? The best super oddball is the Game Boy, the James Bond 007.
Yeah. And then I would also add Tomorrow Never Dies for the PS1.
Yeah. That game was produced and written by a guy named Flint Dille, who produced and wrote everything you've ever loved. No joke. And Flint, kind enough to give me an interview in this as well. Flint Dille is one of the most amazing people you're ever going to meet. He wrote and produced a bunch of episodes during the 80s of G.I. Joe and Transformers. And he's written maybe every video game ever. I'm not sure. It's insane. His resume is insane. Flint Dille, and he's just the nicest guy. I originally met him at a G.I. Joe convention I was doing, and we just kind of hit it off, luckily. And I didn't even know at the time. I was like, oh, Flint Dille, what a cool guy.
And knowing is half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle. And Flint...
I was waiting on that one. I had that one in the chamber.
And Flint... he's worked on everything. I didn't even know he worked on the Bond games until I'm working on this book and I see his name pop up. And luckily I befriended him, so I was able to reach out to him and be like, hey, would you do an interview? Sure. He has his own book called The Games Master. And he published his own book about just his life going through all these properties. Like, if you can name a famous property, he's probably worked on Bond.
So it's
Joe, Transformers.
As far as like the non-Bond sample platter, I would say James Bond, Perfect Dark, No One Lives Forever. What else would you add to that?
I added Spy Hunter and I admitted that this one's a little further away from Bond than the others, but Metal Gear Solid.
Okay, I mean it's close enough, definitely.
Like it's spy and espionage, but it's more sci-fi, that's for sure.
Metal Gear Solid feels more like an American spy movie.
Yeah, which is weird. It's also very Japanese in its own way. Hey, you know what? Fun fact: that guy Raymond Benson, who wrote 6 James Bond movies, he actually, under a different pen name, wrote some Metal Gear Solid books and some Tom Clancy, like Rainbow Six books.
What?
Okay.
So, yeah,
all right.
It's all connected, man. It's all connected.
All right, so we are going to start wrapping up here.
That's all right.
What do you got going on? Where can people find you? And do you have a book or anything that people might be interested in?
Maybe. All right, so I'll wrap up with the book plug, but I will say, where can you find me, folks? You can find me in lots of different places. First of all, I'm at Yard Sale Artist on X, Facebook, and Instagram, and my art website is www.theyardsaleartist.com. If you want to hear me doing the whole podcasting thing, I'm on the Longbox Crusade Network. Just type Longbox Crusade in anything, you will find us. We have a great network of shows. I also am on another network called On Her Majesty's Secret Podcast, where we talk all things James Bond. I wrote a book, and that's why we're here to talk today. I wrote the digital.
Is it a good book?
It's fair to Midland. I give it 3 stars. Digital 007, A History of James Bond in Video Games. It is written in chronological order, starting in 1982 and going up to 2025. And each chapter, goes through each game in the order in which they were released. It's got some history of the game. It's got some reviews on the game from professional reviewers. And then the most important part is finding all those gamers that actually played it. So definitely check out the Digital 007, A History of James Bond in Video Games, along with my other artwares. And if you want to meet me in person and you're heading to Dragon Con this year, that will be my next appearance. I will be at Dragon Con on Artist Alley. So come see me and say hello.
All right, Jared. If you could read this, I would appreciate it.
Ah, yes. The Hooded Raven says the name is Pawn. James Pawn. I take your queen.
So, Jason, any final words?
For me, no. Except that, had this been 2-3 years ago, I would have actually been able to meet you at Dragon Con in Atlanta, right?
Correct. It is in Atlanta.
I was living near Atlanta, and I've been to Dragon Con twice.
Nice. If you've ever been up around Artist Alley, looking around all the comic creators and stuff, we've shared space.
Sadly, I live a little bit farther north. I live in Michigan, so it'd be kind of hard to drag myself to Dragon Con.
Nick, that's why I keep trying to teach you how to teleport. Learn.
I could drive from my house to Dragon Con in about 3.5 hours. I expect it's much longer for Nick there.
Very much longer. So thank you everyone for joining us. Again, sorry about being late. My friend needed my help, so that's I'd be a good friend. We're next stream is going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. We start a Final Fantasy VII remake thing.
Hey, I beat that game. Well, the original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sunday we'll be doing some Skyrim. Thanks to Nathaniel Brown. And yeah, so going forward next month, I'll be at Monroe Comic Con slinging some Screecher and whatnot. But yeah, like I said, we're working on volume 2 of Screecher. I'm not joking. Jared is literally the one who hooked up with Mark. So
Mark is the best. He's an amazing penciler out of Bermuda.
Yeah.
Here he is on the cover of Hamilton versus Burr. That's Mark and me.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't know if you saw Jared, but he actually did the cover for my next comic project, Axis.
I saw that Axis. Yeah, gave it a like. I mean, Mark is...
That's like a sci-fi spy thriller kind of thing, so you might like it.
That's what made me think, hey, if you ever want me to do a cover ink, I can always make time for that, even in my busy schedule. I can ink a Mark cover.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I like inking Mark. He's such a good penciler.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you ever want to return to Screecher, I'm sure Mark wouldn't.
I know he's already privately messaged me like, you got to get back here and ink me. And I'm like, as soon as I just released this and I have a new comic book coming out like on the heels of it. Like I'm working the final stages of that. So one day maybe I'll get a chance to breathe.
So this is what you're telling me. You need to make a clone of yourself and force it to do the manual labor.
Correct.
All right. So everybody, thank you, Jared. It was a pleasure. Make sure to kind of stay back afterwards, and I'll talk to you. But everyone, thank you for joining us, as always, with Nick from the Phoenix Press.